in for this day. We are very excited to introduce our first demo partner of the day, MemberSuite. Joining us from MemberSuite is Chad Walker and Anna Pruka. MemberSuite by GrowthZone is an association management platform designed to streamline core operations, membership dues, events and registrations, e-commerce and billing, engagement, and reporting. Staff get configurable workflows and dashboards. Members get a clean self-service portal for joining, renewing, registering, and updating profiles. With integration, options, and automation to reduce manual steps, MemberSuite helps teams work faster while giving leaders clear visibility into their performance. So let's get that last minute stretch in. And then we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Chad and Anna. Thank y'all for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. All of you, good morning. I appreciate you joining so early. My name is Anna. As mentioned, I've been here 13 years. Chad's been here 10. So I think between the two of us, if you later schedule a demo, we'd be happy to help. I am so excited to talk about whatever your mission is when we do have a call. You know, our mission at GrowthZone MemberSuite is to fulfill yours. For some people, that is managing membership and recruitment and retention. Some people say to me, I don't need more members. I have enough. I have organizational members and we know who they are. We don't need to get more. About 65% of our client base are managing organizational memberships. We do that very elegantly. So if that's something that you're looking for, if that's a mission that you have, searching for an AMS, that's something we would be appropriate for. This is supported by a greater company, right? This product is supported by a larger suite of products, some of those being an LMS, a community, other AMS products geared towards chambers or smaller associations. At MemberSuite, we're really geared towards the mid to large size association, 10 staff or more. It's really about the type of complexities that you're using sometimes rather than number of staff, right? We want to look at customers who maybe have a certification program. About 40% of our customers have certification programs and need a complex way to handle those. A lot of our customers also have complex memberships. So, in 13 years, I don't think I've ever seen a membership issue or a way to set it up or a problem that we couldn't solve. And that's very exciting for me. We do value configuration over customization here. So you are supported by a huge suite of products, but the software that we're looking at today is the only version of MemberSuite that we have. It is a cloud SaaS software. We push out upgrades and updates every 3 weeks. So this is an innovation machine. We are constantly adding new functionality. We ended last year at a customer satisfaction score of 99%, and we ended last month at a customer satisfaction score of 100%. And I'm so proud of that. After 13 years, it's important for me to make sure that a project goes to the team and we all take a leap of faith and it's done correctly, on time and on budget. And I think our methodology and the people that we've hired there has helped do that. So when you're looking at the product today, when you think about everything is inclusive in terms of the pricing, everything Chad shows you is just what comes with the software. I'm never taking notes on if they're going to use the Outlook or not. That just comes with it. You can send as many emails as you want, create as many abstracts and speakers for the event without feeling like you're going to push the bill up higher. This is a CRM at heart. It was architected as a CRM. So there is an area to add prospects and leads and opportunities. And again, an unlimited data storage there as well, right? We want you to grow this database. We want you to have administrative licenses, not come back to us for, paying us more money. So it is important that you have an unlimited model there. I may be the only vendor that you see demos with this week, and I hope I get a challenge there that actually doesn't just have reporting. We come with a data warehouse baseline. So it just comes with the system. And instead of looking up who's registered for the event today, now we're trending over time. Now we're banking your historical data and allowing you to compare event year over year, look at membership counts on a certain date and time. And so that is sort of the next generation of reporting, right? Everybody's got great reporting. I think for us many years ago, it was about analyzing and visualizing and pie charts. Today, it is about that built in data warehouse and making sure that you have a way to, deliver data to the board that is past and historical and trending. Um, I talked a little bit about our customer satisfaction score being between 99 and 100%. And the way that we've done that is hiring people who have actually worked on staff at associations and nonprofits. Our VP of customer success spent 30 years as an executive director and controller. We have somebody on the training and customer success team who spent many years auditing associations. We have several support staff who have been users of our software and membership coordinators and event coordinators at different associations. And we also have another CSM here about 10 years who also has a CPA background. So there are a lot of people here who can help you, who have walked a mile in your shoes, who understand what it feels like when you make a call, what you're asking for, knows that you have a member, not a customer, right? And so that's really the difference here. I think it sets us apart. Everybody's got a member portal, everybody's got membership. What everybody doesn't have is that 100% customer satisfaction score. So that's really exciting for us. I'm about to stop talking and let Chad take over and show you a little bit of the software. We'll be looking at two pieces today. We'll be looking at the portal or CRM side of MemberSuite, where your, prospects, advertisers, sponsors, they're going to log in from your website. They're going to have one username and password, and that's going to let them know what content should they see, what price should they get. Are they left-handed with red hair in Georgia? Let's charge them something different. And also we'll see the SAF side where we'll look at reporting and talk a little bit about that data warehouse. Anything to add, Chad? I'm going to stop sharing.
No, that was great. Thanks, Anna.
Yeah.
Uh, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. So as Anna mentioned, we have two sides to MemberSuite. We're going to start in the end user facing side today. I know we only have about 20 minutes here. So I'm going to keep it rather high level today, but try to touch on all the key core concepts of the system. Before I get into it, just a little context about my career here at MemberSuite. Anna mentioned I've been here for about a decade. A majority of my career has been in implementation, so working with new clients. So when I walk through examples today, I tend to tie them back to my experience with working on onboarding or implementing new clients onto MemberSuite. So how do people get logged in? How do people get logged into our portal? I would say that 70% of people that I've ever implemented, we do some form of single sign-on, where the journey could be the end user starts at your website, they log in directly through your website, it logs them into MemberSuite. Maybe you log directly into the MemberSuite portal and it logs you to other applications. Doesn't really matter which way you choose to go there, but the end goal really is to have the one username and one password for the end user, so they're not having to remember a bunch of usernames and passwords to get into the website, to get into the AMS, to get to the LMS, to get into the abstract management software, whatever you may be using. So that's really the end goal. Now, another really important concept in MemberSuite is this idea of a true CRM. At its core, at its heart, what MemberSuite is, it is a CRM. We're tracking individuals and organizations in the database. So people can exist in our database without being a member. So if you have someone that is a prospect, someone that is a sponsor, someone that is an exhibitor, all of those can be tracked as just an individual organization that exists as that, and not necessarily a member. Membership's a separate object in the database that can be tied back to the individual or organizational record. Now, when we're logged in right here, we're logged in as Sample Portal user. You'll see that we can log in and manage Sample's profile, but you'll notice that Sample also has the ability to toggle over and manage his organization's profile. This is done through a really important concept in MemberSuite called relationships. And what relationships are at a very high level, it's how you can join any two objects of the database together. The most common scenario is how we can tie an individual back to an organization. Now, you define these relationships during implementation, so you can have as many as you want. You can name whatever you like. But in my database, I have a handful configured. I have a staff contact, an administrative contact, and a primary contact. And Sample is a primary contact at Chad's org. So that means he can log in on behalf of the organization. He can manage the organization's profile. He can update who works at the organization. He can come in here and pay off the invoices, pay off the bills. And if y'all are org based with your membership, can come in here and purchase an organizational membership as well. So all those rights are given to him because he's a primary contact. You can have multiple people at an organization with these rights, and an individual can manage multiple organizations. So if one individual needs to manage multiple branches, multiple locations, whatever it may be, there could be multiple organizations here that the individual could log in as. Now, as we continue in, we'll talk a little bit more about how the individual can manage their profile right here. So this is where you can update your headshot if you would like. This is where the individual can come in here and update any of their personal information. Now, obviously, we're a database, so we can track data. There's nothing really special there as far as tracking first name, last name, email address. We can track as many phone numbers as you like. We can track as many addresses as you like. We do have a built-in integration with USPS that automatically validates addresses, and this works domestically and internationally. And we can also automatically assign congressional districts as well, if that's something that is important to you. Now, the really important key takeaways I want to talk about here on this screen lends more to the configurability of MemberSuite. So you see down below we have this demographics section. We see this other information section. You can have as many sections as you like in the system. You can name them whatever you want, but this is where the user defined or custom fields live. So these are fields that don't come out of the box standard of MemberSuite. These are fields unique to you and your organization. And some important takeaways with them. The first thing is you have the ability to manage these. If you need to create a field, if you need to move something on the page, if you need to add another option to the dropdown right here, you can do it. You don't have to call Chad to come in here and make changes to the database. There's only 2 buttons on the entire backend of MemberSuite that I can touch that you can't. So when it comes to really owning this system, you can basically do everything I can do. Now, having said that, we do have a full professional services department that is white glove, turnkey. We set everything up for you, but you don't want to have to call me to come and make tweaks and changes to the database. To drive that home a little bit further, I have a political science degree from the University of Georgia. I have no idea how to write a line of code, and I can set this thing up start to finish. I've been here for a decade doing it. So it really doesn't take any computer science or any coding knowledge to manage the database. Another really important concept in the database is this idea of special pricing. What special pricing allows us to do allows us to target any data point on the individual or organizational record to control whether or not this person or organization can buy a product or how much they should pay for a product. Really simple example. You'll see we have an online store in the portal. Maybe we sell a book in the online store and that book is in Spanish. And we only want people that have Spanish selected as one of their languages to be able to purchase the book. I could build guardrails around the product to control whether or not people can purchase it based upon the data saved in this field. Another example is the ability to calculate how much things cost. We see this oftentimes used with organizational memberships, where perhaps the organization needs to enter in annual revenue, employee count. We've worked with hospital associations where the bed count drives how much the membership should cost. So the end user would come in here and fill out this integer field with whatever data, and we take this number and we plug it into a formula on the back end that will automatically adjust the price of the product based upon the data saved on their record. One more thing to point out right here is we do have an e-marketing module built into MemberSuite. We are GDPR compliant if that is something that is important to you. People can opt in or opt out of email here, but we also have this concept called email messaging categories where people can pick and choose the types of emails they get from you all rather than doing a blanket unsubscribe. And you can modify these email messaging categories as well. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hop back to the homepage of the portal, and I'm just going to give you the 30,000-foot view of kind of everything that's going on in here. And certainly, if something piques your interest, we have the chat. Feel free to throw it in the chat, or we can set up a separate demo to get in the weeds with any part of the system. So this is all very configurable. I can rename all these tabs and the options here, and we can change the look and feel of this if we need to. But underneath this community tab, I have our directory. This is a member directory. People can opt in or opt out of this when they're purchasing their membership, renewing their membership, or if they're just managing their membership through the profile over there. You can make the member directory a member benefit to have access to, or it could just be generally open to the public. We have an awards and competitions module. So if you're tracking awards, maybe you track scholarships, who's won the scholarship year over year, you can do that. But you can also allow people to enter a competition where they can fill out a form to submit why they should win the award. That form is totally up to you what is on it. So you can ask all sorts of questions. You can put custom fields on there. You can let people upload files when they're filling out that form. You can charge money for people when they come in here and they fill up this form for, let's say, the scholarship, for example. So that is all a feature within the competitions module. But another nice feature is the judging aspect, where you can designate judges on the back end, where these judges log into the portal and they can view all their entrants. They can download the papers, the files, whatever, and they can also come in here and score this based upon whatever rubric you have in place. And these rubrics are configured by you when you're setting up the competition. We can set up discussions, and I'll show you a little bit more about that with our community. We have the ability to track committees, which committees are just buckets and groups of people. It could be your board of directors, it could be a steering committee, it could be a volunteer committee. There are positions within the committee, and there's also terms that you can set that will automatically add and remove people from the committee based upon the terms that's set. Now, we also do have the community aspect. Anna shows you that PowerPoint slide of the GrowthZone family, MemberSuite being one of the AMSs. This community right here works with all of our products underneath our umbrella. And it's where your constituents can come and interact with one another. Again, I'll be pretty brief here, but this is where you can give a landing page, think like a LinkedIn or Facebook wall where people can communicate back and forth with one another. You can come in here, you can like things, you can comment things, you can add new posts. And when we add a new post, you can tag post if you want to and attach media and files. You can set up discussion boards where it's more topic focused, where maybe we're talking about artificial intelligence. And again, we can see post tags and followers on this. You can even sell ad space in here. Now, where this really comes to shine is going to be on the group, in my opinion, because groups are segmented out groups of people, could be your committees or chapters, or could be sections. And it can be a private place where people can communicate back and forth with one another. So for example, I'm on the board of directors here. You can set administrators on the board. You can set a directory for this. And within the board of directors, you can set up a news feed, which is that LinkedIn or Facebook wall. We can set up discussion boards within here. We can set up resources that we can share files, and we have different views for this. And we can also do meetings as well in here. And what's really cool about this is that there's a baked in, oh, everyone, you can probably see my dog sleeping directly behind me right now too. You can have this built-in video chat feature, and this is all proprietary baked into this platform. So I'm not using Zoom or anything like this. So this could be more of a webinar format like today. It could be more of a Zoom format too as well, where maybe we're all communicating back and forth to one another. But that is just all baked into this platform. Now, as I come back over here to the member portal, we'll see this events drop down. Events is one of our largest modules. It's really designed to handle anything from a huge annual trade show conference all the way down to maybe a free webinar that we're offering. We can build very complex pricing rules around registration, whether it be member versus non-member, member type pricing. And what I mentioned before, and Anna mentioned it too, is the concept of special pricing, where you can target any data point on anyone's record to control what they pay. So the silly example I always give is if I'm right-handed in Georgia versus left-handed in Alabama, I need to see different prices for different reasons. We can go and we can configure that. We can set up sessions, workshops, breakouts in there. We can take abstract submissions within an event. We can sell merchandise. We can track sponsorships as well. There's a lot that goes on in the events module. Above and beyond that, a separate module is our exhibits module, where you can sell exhibit booths. And you see this add a seminar right here. So this isn't something that is native to MemberSuite. I created this object and I named it seminar with all these fields in here. So this is basically a custom container that I created in a portal form that I created to track data. This could really be anything. I also have an example of this as a survey right here as well. We don't have a survey module, but I did create this portal form called survey, and it's just data that would be tied back to the record of the person or company that filled this out. We have an online store. You can sell whatever you want in the online store. It could be a digital good. It could be a physical good. We have the ability to track inventory, taxes, and do shipping charges in here. If I come in here and add to the cart, we can add suggested items. This is a universal shopping cart, so you can fill it up with whatever you need and check out all at once. We have the ability to take ACH and credit card. We can allow people to pay later. We can do installment plans on this if we need it. We can allow people to pay for credits. We can do discounts and promo codes. There's a lot of flexibility there. We have a subscriptions module too as well, which allows people to subscribe traditionally to a publication, but I've had people use this for all sorts of things. We can take donations. We have a whole fundraising module as well. We also have a certifications module, and actually, our certifications module is by far and away our largest module in the database. It has the most configurability to it. And its smallest, what it can be, is tracking continuing education credits, which is pretty straightforward. You can come in here and view your credit history. You can report CE credits as an end user if you would like. You can print out a certificate if you've earned a certificate for a CE credit. But where this becomes rather large is if you're a certifying body, you have multiple certifications you offer, certification programs you offer. Within those certification programs, we have the ability to set up application workflows, and we have different types that we can configure. The different types would be to initiate the certification, renew the certification, and reinstate the certification. Each one of those types can have different workflows. So you have different steps that people go through. There can be different requirement rules. There can be different transition rules, different pricing rules. There's You can have as many steps as you like, whether it be tracking professional experience, education experience, continuing education, updating their profile. And once somebody has submitted that application, we have the ability to take exams as well. So we can track exam data. And ultimately, let's assume somebody did meet all the criteria, you can certify them. And once they're certified, you have the ability to offer them the ability to renew that certification or reinstate that certification if you do allow for reinstatements. But that is a rather large module. And finally, membership. We are MemberSuite, obviously, so we do offer membership. That's probably our second largest module. Lots of configurability with membership. We can do individual organizational membership. We can require approval on memberships if we need to. We can put memberships in a series. So, for example, if you select a student membership, we have the ability to go in and say you start as a student 1 year to a 2 year to a 3 year, then ultimately someone ends up as a professional. We can accommodate for that, but there's a ton of switches we can flip on the membership level. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hop to the back end. We have about 8 minutes left here. So again, I'm going to run pretty quick through this. This is what you see when you log into MemberSuite. This dashboard that we see when we log in is user defined, meaning whomever is logged into the system can see their own sets of dashboards. During implementation, we'll build whatever dashboards you want, but certainly we teach you how to build this as well. And I'll show you how to build a simple report here in a second. You can drill into all this data within these dashboards. We have a Google Maps integration too. If you want to see where your members are, we have that. But our two special reports that we have here at the bottom are retention and retainment reports. And these are special because these are built on top of our data warehouse. So we're taking snapshots of your data over time so you can compare where you are now versus where you were in the past. Now, obviously, I don't have a real database because I've never lost a member over 12 months, according to my retention report right here. But this is where you could see the trend of people leaving and joining your organization or association. Another example of this would be, and I've heard this a lot this summer, people going to their board meeting and their board of directors asking, hey, how many members did we have at the end of last year? Well, if you weren't sitting there December 31st, 11:59 uh, on 2024, pulling that report, and you try to pull that report on October 23rd, you have no idea how many members you had because the data has been updated. So we have a bunch of different ways to get to it. So we have built-in reports too. So this would be the ability to pull pre-built reports we have for you all. This is the second way we do reporting. And right here's where I can come to my retention report by type. And I can come over here and say, all right, I can go to the week or the month to get my retention rates. And if I want to, I can come right here to 1/1/2025. And this is a snapshot, that date and time, the beginning of the year, how many members I had. This is how many members I started with. They're broken out by type. I can see who dropped. And this is during the period too. So during the month of January, who dropped, who joined, and who reinstated. And we can rip this all out to Excel. We also have the ability to build reports in the system. So this is where we can come in here and we can configure some visualizations, graphs, and charts. And I'm just going to build a pretty simple report right here. I'm just going to build a order report. What you'll see when I get into this is a pretty comprehensive list of all the tables in the database. So you can start wherever you want, but just because you start somewhere doesn't mean you're locked into that table. So if I come in here, I'm gonna grab order date, order total, I want to grab amount paid. I click apply, and I can see the data start to populate. So down below, I can see it to populate. Now, if I want to, I can join additional tables. So I can come in here and I can grab information around who placed the order, what's their email address. I click apply, and that starts to populate below. Maybe I want to do membership information. You notice the deeper we get, the more places that we can touch. So it means we can grab more data from different places in the database. So I'm coming in here and I'm gonna grab some membership information or what type of member are you active members. Now this could be your search at the bottom. You could be done at this point. But if you want to take it a step further, you can actually come into this report and you can add some formatting, some filtering. So for example, if I want to turn this into a money field, I can turn this into a money field. Maybe I want to come in here and I also want to change it to where anything over $100, we make it blue. So I can come over here over $100. I'm going to make this blue. I can come in here, I click OK, and we can make it blue. Maybe I want to add a chart. Maybe I want to add some filter criteria to this. I can come in here and I can set all of that in here, even merge in duplicate cells, aggregate, group, filter, whatever you want to do. Now from there, you can inject formulas like you can do with Excel. You can add filter criteria to this. And then you can come in here and you can add visualizations to this chart. So I can come in here and I can make this a bar chart. Maybe I want to overlay whether or not active members orders were placed throughout the year. Maybe I want to make this by membership type right here. I can. So I can make this by membership type. Maybe I want to make it a line chart. Maybe I want to make this a heat map right here. I can come in here and I can save this visualization. I can save this chart too, and I can use it to build out dashboards, or I could use it to build out authored reports, which would be a combination of visualization, graphs, and charts. Now, something important to note, these built-in reports and these authored reports that I'm about to show you, these can be scheduled. So if you want your board of directors to get this report right here every month at the beginning of the month at 8 a.m., you can come in here and you can schedule this report to automatically be sent to your board of directors. Now, another neat reporting feature we have built into the system is our engagements module. And what our engagements module is designed to do is really to answer what seems like a simple question, but sometimes hard to answer. It's what are people doing? What's working? What's not working? So the very first time you come into this module, what it's going to ask you to do is going to ask you to fill out what's called a score sheet. And score sheets are unique to every client, where you can come in here and you can put weights and values on interactions that people have taken. So for example, if someone attended an event, give them 50 points. If they've been a member for 10 years, give them another 50 points. Maybe they unsubscribe from an email, take away a point. Maybe they haven't attended an event in 5 years. We want to take away, I don't know, 90% of the value. So you can spend a lot of time building out the weights to this. You run the calculation, you launch the engagement, and this is where we get an insight into what's working. So in my database, fundraising is huge. We can see member versus non-member engagement, and we can drill into this and we can get to the underlying data. We can drill further into the member data right here and have insight into what is working and what's not working. We can come below and we can see it broken out by category. Maybe membership should be a bigger piece of this pie, so we should lean more into membership. We see it broken out by activity, by member type. We will see our least engaged and our most engaged. Maybe I should reach out to our most engaged constituents, once a year. Maybe they should be on our board of directors. We also have the ability to roll this up to the organizational level where we can aggregate all the data from the individuals and the organizations and put it on one screen for you so you can see how well an organization is performing. A lot more to MemberSuite. We can talk for hours if you want to. So please feel free to reach out to Anna if you want to have a deeper dive into the system.
Absolutely.
That's all I got for you today.
Thank you. I'm going to remind you guys to take our short survey and you get a $20 Amazon gift card. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all so much for doing that. I just want to remind the attendees that the chat will still be open after the demo is closed. And also